And this big thing called government has replaced everything else. Government has replaced our families. Just look at the divorce rate. Look at the breakdown in the families structure. Government has replaced our churches. Every study in the world now shows Americans are less involved in their churches than they used to be. Every study, year after year. We're less involved in our neighborhoods than we used to be. We're less involved in our communities than we used to be. Because this big, ugly thing called government has replaced our families, our churches, our communities, and our neighborhoods. And most importantly, it's replaced us. I got in a lot of trouble. No surprise. 2 weeks ago at a town hall when I said, the American people today have grown lazy, we've grown uninformed, we're uneducated, we're irresponsible, we're less self-reliant, and yeah, you know what? We've grown more stupid. Huffington Post went crazy, MSNBC went crazy, Joe Walsh just says the American people are stupid. We are more stupid than we used to be. We're not as independent as we used to be. We don't take care of ourselves like we used to. We don't take care of our families like we used to. We have asked government to do everything. Man, oh man, I wish young people got this. Man, I wish they got it. Young people who always want to do what is the best. I want to take care of the poor. I want everybody to live in a beautiful home. I want life to be wonderful. That's great. But they think government's the vehicle to make all that happen. And it's going to be a really sad day in about 20 years when those young people are 40 and every dollar they make is going to support this government. These two Americas are fighting. Okay, you know what's wrong? This side is winning. We're losing. Every Democrat is here. From Obama to Harry Reid to Pelosi to Duckworth. They all believe in this. I'm asked all the time, how come Democrats don't get it? Do they know what they're doing to this country? The answer is yeah. Some of them know. A lot of them don't get it. They really don't understand. But a lot of them, like Obama, they want everybody here. Once I have you here, once you are dependent upon me, what am I going to get every election? Your vote. Immigration reform, folks, is going to be a huge issue. And I don't mind being politically incorrect when it comes to darn near any issue. But I know because they've told me privately. Democrats have told me privately. The reason, the principal reason they want to legalize 16 million illegal immigrants is because those are votes. And they know it. They will not say that publicly. Republicans are afraid to call them out on it. But that's what they're doing. So Democrats live here. The media lives here. Most Republicans are here. Thanks to the Tea Party movement, you have a minority of Republicans, guys like Cruz, Ron Johnson, Rand Paul, Jim DeMint was one. Good guys in the House. You got a minority in the House who are here, trying to hold on to this. But we're losing. And don't anybody think like McCain and some of these others think, if we can just sound a little bit more like Democrats, we'll win. If we can just say, like the Democrats will say, I'll give you free contraceptives for life, if Republicans just say free contraceptives for the next 3 years, like that will get us some votes. If Democrats say, I will legalize you all tomorrow, well, maybe Republicans should just say, I'll legalize all the illegals in a couple months. That will get me some votes. Look, I'm an Irish Catholic kid. I grew up in a big old family of 9 kids. My wife can attest to this. I try to be a happy-go-lucky guy. We're getting killed. I trust that you're here because you take this stuff seriously. You take this whole notion of freedom and limited government seriously. If you do, I want you walking away understanding we're losing bad. I don't care how close the Romney-Obama election might have been. Folks, we're on the downside right now. If you have a drug problem or you have a drinking problem, and I've had neither, we all know folks who have, I think the first step is you got to hit rock bottom and admit where you are. So freedom lovers, patriots, we're losing bad, real bad. I thought we were losing before I went to Washington. I served with good people, John Boehner, members of Congress from Illinois, good people. Most Republicans don't get it. Most Republicans do not understand what I just said. I would say to John Boehner at least 2 or 3 times while I was there, I'd say to John Boehner on the floor of the House, Mr. Boehner, Mr. Speaker, do you understand where we're at? Do you understand right now that if Republicans don't really stand for freedom, history's going to bowl right by us? And he'd slap me upside the head and say, there goes Walsh again. There goes Walsh. They don't get it. Final piece, and this is what I know were about to say 5 or 10 minutes ago. The final group of people to blame for where we're at is us. It's us. You get the government you deserve. We have too many people in this country who want to be taken care of. If we've trained our politicians to give us stuff, who are they giving stuff to? Now, I'm not talking about anybody in this room, I may, but we, as the American people, have absolutely shirked our responsibility in this thing called a republic and a democracy. Jefferson, my favorite founding father, Jefferson said so many amazing things. One of the simplest he said, and I'll paraphrase in today's jargon, he said really simply, when the people become stupid, they lose their republic. You see, it's a bargain. It's a partnership. Our elected officials are supposed to work for us and represent us. Our only job, Jefferson said, in this relationship is to stay informed. Pay attention. Stay educated. My God, we're not. Rush Limbaugh has fun calling them low information voters. And it's such a great laugh line, and we know it's true. And that's why when I said what I said a couple weeks ago, yeah, we've gotten stupid, lazy, and dumb. We're fat, lazy, and stupid. The liberal media jumped all over me because they know it's true. And they don't want politicians saying it. I think what I'll do, Dan, is I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna drink some water. Let's open this up to any questions we might have, and then I've got about a 2.5-hour conclusion. Hey, questions about anything? I will not pull my punches. Yes, troublemaker.
Have you considered running for governor?
You think someone as radical as me?
If it gets you out of Chicago.
I am traveling the state, speaking to groups all over the state, and I am certainly considering running for governor. Hey, but understand something. Boy, this will give me a lot of Republican votes. The Republican Party in this state is a joke.
Yes.
A joke. I say that, folks, hear me. I was born a Republican. I went to Congress as a Republican. I hope to go to my grave as a, not for a while, as a Republican. But the Republican Party in this state is a joke. It has not stood for a thing. It has let one man, not even a party. Another lie. The Democrats do not run Illinois. No. One man runs Illinois. And if that one man were a Republican, I'd be screaming at him just like I scream at Michael Madigan. But we don't care about that. Why did that happen? Because the Republican Party for years has said, Michael Madigan, Democrats, just give me some power and I'll keep my mouth shut. And that's what Republicans from Thompson to Edgar to Ryan and all the way down. Shame on them. And now we don't have a party. So I don't know that the Republicans would want me because I want a revolution in the Republican Party.
Follow-up question. Would you consider running for governor as a libertarian? What are your views on the libertarian?
Would I consider running as governor as a libertarian? You know, I'm having a real hard time with you. Is there any security in the building?
No, I'll go upstairs and check.
Hey, here's my thought. I'll be very honest. I said when I first ran for Congress in 2008, I'm a Tea Party conservative first and a Republican second. If the Republican Party does not stand up for that, freedom and limited government, something else is coming. If the Republican Party will not fight for these things, John Boehner, something else is coming. We're not there yet. The Tea Party movement, we've given the Republicans one more chance to get it right. If they blow it, something else is coming. We're close, but I don't think we're there yet. All the way in the back. Stand up and be recognized.
Do you think term limits are a possibility and could they help turn things around?
No, yes. No, at the federal level, you'll never see term limits unless there's a constitutional amendment. Would they turn things around? Heck yes. Here's the problem. So little naive old me, I go to Washington and I think like you do. Part of the problem is, those guys stay there too long. So I introduced a bill calling for term limits. 6 years for members of the House, 12 for members of the Senate, and I really proudly walked around the floor of Congress because I needed a lot of co-sponsors. Now I'll tell you, there are 435 members of Congress. In a month, how many co-sponsors do you think I found? 7. 7. There were even members of Congress like me who self-limited themselves who wouldn't sign the bill. So, who knows? So we've got a long way to go. I think the answer is, and I'll get to this in my conclusion, I feel so strongly about this, and the studies back us up. The longer people stay in Washington and Springfield, the more prone they are to grow government. We know it. So I wouldn't vote for any Republican or Democrat for any office if they tell you they're not going to only go there for a short period of time. I think we have to begin on our own to elect people who will limit themselves. Not all of them will keep their word, because once you get to Washington, man, is it nice. You walk around with the fancy jacket, you wear the fancy pin, people treat you like you're a king and a queen. And that's why a lot of members go there with the best of intentions, but then they fall in love with the power. We need to elect people who will limit themselves. Yes, sir.
So how do we handle the phone call from the RNC who says, just give me $1,000 or $500?
Okay, I don't think Barb, John Boehner won't hear this answer, will he? Reince Priebus, here's my rule. And this one really, this made me really a leper within the Republican Party. I'm a Republican. I want to stay one. Do not give the party money. If you want to give money to people, hey, come on. You know why I get so wrapped up? Because we're at war and we're losing. Okay? If you want to do something about that, give money to candidates who talk this language and give money to Tea Party groups and other political advocacy groups who are talking this out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I'd like to know if you come to Pike County and speak, 2 questions.
Yes. Raise your hand, Barb. That's the other woman in my life. Talk to her.
I'd like to hear your comments on why the federal government needs 1.6 billion rounds of ammo, 2,700 MRAP tanks, and 7,000 personal defense weapons of the M16 variety.
I'm going to give you a real brief answer. A 3-word answer. I don't know, comma, but Congress should investigate immediately. And that clause in the sentence is the real problem. Because Congress should investigate. My God, what is Congress's principal role? To provide oversight. So that everything government does, we all can see. I sat on the Government Oversight and Reform Committee. Great chairman, Darrell Issa, California. We investigated Fast and Furious, but we didn't investigate it as hard as we should have. And there were 1,000 other issues right after Fast and Furious, and that's one of them. The Republican House has to have the... I let the record show I stopped myself. The courage to fight. And right now they don't. What else, guys? Yes, sir.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve effectively is printing $85 billion a month. So even if we change the politicians in Washington, 100 years ago, the Federal Reserve was set up, and $1 then is now worth 4 cents. So if you get the Federal Reserve printing $85 billion a month, and everybody's concerned about the sequester, it's not even really a cut of $85 billion. How do we deal with the Federal actually depreciating our money? You know?
Well, again, I think this is a role for Congress to very aggressively investigate the role of the Fed. Now, one of my heroes, Ron Paul, who I interviewed my first week on the radio last week, loved Congressman Paul, we at least passed a bill in the House last year to actually audit the Fed. We called it the Ron Paul bill. That's a baby step, but it's a start. Now, I tend to believe, I'll say this delicately, I question the role of the Fed to begin with. But understand what I just said is 100 steps beyond what my Republican leadership will say. So we got to go at the Fed with baby steps. Audit the Fed every year. Investigate clearly what they're doing. Take a hard look at their dual mandate. Start there. And then propose legislation, I think, to eventually, hang on, do away with the Fed. But baby steps. What else? Yes, ma'am.
One of your sentences.
You're next, because you've been so good.
One of your sentences you started, the only way we can save this country, and I don't know that you actually told us.
I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm going to close with my solution.
Okay. As an individual.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
We can't hear the question.
Oh, the question was, you started a sentence by saying the only way we can save this thing is to do, and I'm saving that for the end. I don't want anybody leaving. I drove down from Chicago to listen to you. So yes, that'll come. Because, but point. Here's why I'm a bit of a dark Irishman. I don't think the country will be saved unless the American people do it, not our politicians. And I really question, hey, historians in the room, on average, how long does every great society last? To be exact, 264 years. Do the math. Have we already tipped? Boy, you want to do some good reading in the next couple months, read about ancient Rome. Have we already tipped? We have fully half this country dependent upon government. Food stamps, welfare, unemployment insurance, social security, disability.
Yeah, but they pay that in.
No, they didn't pay all that in. Medicare, you look at everything we've got now. You've got a people that is dependent upon that. Have we reached the point where we're past the tipping point? I mean, you have, and I don't want to pick on young people, but I love picking on young people because I'm a teacher. I love picking on young people because young people don't get this. Danica Patrick, everybody know who Danica Patrick is? Race car driver. Okay, last year, during the big controversy about the HHS mandate, right? The Obamacare piece where the government can force religious institutions to pay for birth control and abortion pills. Danica Patrick was asked about this. Is this a problem? Is this a restriction upon religious freedom? And do you know what her answer is? She's 27 years old, and she said, I don't know. That's why we have government to decide those things. Again, I don't mean to pick on young people, but I really think we've reached a point, and I don't care. I don't care if this means nobody will vote for me again. Call it out. I think we've reached a point where maybe unless we, and how many of you believe this? Come on. Have we reached a point that unless we literally crash, all these people living off of government, they're not coming back to me. I spent all of my last campaign saying, I'm Joe Walsh. Think about this. Maybe this is why I lost. I traveled the entire district and I said, my name's Joe Walsh. If you vote for me, I'm not giving you a darn thing. I did. My opponent walked around saying, I'll give you this. You need, by the way, you need a new shirt. I'll give you a new watch. I'll take care of you. I'll pay for your haircut tomorrow. This is how our politicians campaign. And they win this way. Will we ever have a majority of this country that will vote for me when I say I'm Joe Walsh, if you vote for me, I won't give you a darn thing. I'm trying to cut what Washington takes from you so that you can keep more of what's yours. Now go live your life and be happy. I'm not going to get most Americans. You want me to run for governor? How in God's name am I going to become governor with that message? No! What about our pensions? You can't touch our pensions. What? How can I win? You had a question back there. You forgot. Who's got one? All the way in the back. Oh, wait. I promised right here. Up front first, then we'll go.
I was going to say, we've already got one of those sports note carriers right here in the sheriff's department. Had it for about 4 or 5 years.
Have you?
Yeah.
What would you say?
We have one of those
Repeat
personnel
what he
carriers
said.
here, those tapes.
For 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, the personnel
The personnel.
All the way in the back.
Good thing. After the last national election, I come to one conclusion. You want to spend your money, and I don't like to agree with the Democrats, but Tim O'Neill said it best. All politics is local. Spend your money at home. People will listen to you at home. Number two, we want to get back to the America. We need to get rid of 2 things. And it all started back in 1913, the 16th and the 17th Amendment. That's where we lost our control to federal government. The Washington Post
there were 22 of us in the House the last 2 years who voted no for every budget deal and every debt ceiling deal. And the Washington Post called us the apocalypse box. And now we have nobody in Illinois voting no. And the media jumped on me because I voted no a lot. But if I had been in Congress a couple months ago, do you understand that we just, and every one of your Republican congressmen in Illinois voted for this, we just voted for a continuing resolution to fund your government for the rest of the year, no cuts, fully funding Obamacare for the rest of the year. Obamacare will destroy this country. I mean destroy. On that vote alone, no Republican should have voted for that continuing resolution. Good people, Aaron Schock, Kinzinger, all good guys, but they don't get it. And these are your Republicans. And remember, your Democrats, they're trying to do what they do. Takeaway number 2, when you leave tonight, remember this. That side that's winning, the Democrats, they're doing it on purpose. They know exactly what they're doing. They know they're at war. They're treating this like a war, folks. Our side typically hasn't. Democrats say that evil Joe Walsh wants to take away your right to an abortion. I mean, they go for the jugular. We Republicans, I want to talk to you about the fair tax. I have a 63-page PowerPoint presentation I'd like to review with you. I mean, we Republicans, we get down into the details. We show you the latest study. They're killing us over here. And they're at it every single day. Michael Madigan and his army, they don't take time off between elections. Our side's been asleep because we know our argument is right. We know we're right. We know it's a better country to live free than to live here where government takes care of all of us. We know. And we think the power of our argument will win the day. They're fighting with knives, we're fighting with PowerPoint presentations, and we're losing. Yes, sir.
Earlier you said that there's less and less involvement in the local churches. And John Adams wrote that our form of government is only adequate to a moral and religious people. And from my own perspective, a lot of our problem is that as we have moved God out of the public arena, our people are becoming less moral and less religious, and that's our real problem. Would you agree with that?
Yes. Yes. I'd agree with it anecdotally, and I'd back it up with statistics. See, Republicans, look, statistics show that if you're a fiscal conservative, 97 or 8% of fiscal conservatives historically are social conservatives. They always match up. Now, there are some exceptions, but basically, if you're a fiscal conservative, you're a social conservative. But Republicans are always afraid to talk about the social issues. Look at the one right in front of us now. Senator Mark Kirk comes out today and says, oh, come on, and says, I believe in same-sex marriage, marriage equality. And everybody just praises him. Woo! I know so many of my Republican colleagues, like me, who have the nerve to believe that marriage is a 2,000 to 3,000 year institution between a man and a woman, and yet most of my Republican colleagues are afraid to publicly talk about this issue because the media beats us over the head. You nailed it. I mean, look, I want to live in a country that's free. I want to live in a country where you are free to try to buy a home. But I want to live in a